Good evening. A smash and grab robbery at an Oshawa mall had shoppers jumping into action to try to help take down the armed suspects.
The entire incident caught on camera by several bystanders, and tonight police say all 5 suspects are in custody. CTV's Allison Hurst is live tonight with more on what happened. Allison.
Michelle, we've been speaking with a number of people who work at the mall. One of them who works at a booth just across the jewelry store, and she was there yesterday when it happened. She tells us that she was actually hit by some of that bear spray, and it was burning her eyes, burning her scalp. She tried to rinse it out yesterday. She was unable to do an interview with us because she was at work, but she says the entire incident played out like a movie. Security comes running into a jewelry store as a suspect takes off using bear spray and flees down the hall of the Oshawa Centre. A couple of them are grabbed in the hallway, one by a shopper who held him in a chokehold. Both were then held on the ground by shoppers and mall security until Durham Regional Police arrived.
Fortunate that these civilians stepped in and assisted. We're more fortunate that nobody was harmed, because ultimately we don't know what suspects have in their possessions, what weapons they may have with them.
Police say 4 suspects attempted to rob the jewelry store, and 2 of them got out and into an awaiting getaway car. They got out and started running, though, after a minor collision at Stevenson Road North and King Street West.
It attempted to actually flee police officers. I mounted a curb. I was involved in a minor collision with civilian vehicles. Nobody was injured in that collision, fortunately, but those suspects then fled that vehicle.
Police, along with its K9 unit, caught and arrested them. Police say there were minor injuries due to the bear spray inside the mall, something that continued to impact workers today.
I started coughing. I had to go outside to get some fresh air.
She had to wear a mask to get through her shift, but news of the attempted theft didn't rattle her.
We hear of robberies a lot, so we're kind of immune to it.
3 adults are now facing several charges, including robbery, possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000, and conspiracy to commit an offense. One of them also faces a possession of a prohibited weapon charge. 2 teenagers, 15 and 17 years old, are also facing similar charges.
It's an unfortunate series of circumstances that these things keep occurring, especially, in our malls, more specifically the Oshawa Centre. This has happened time and time again. We are doing everything in our power to speak with government officials and work on those relationships to see what we can do to make it so these things don't occur again.
All were held for a bail hearing. One of the employees at the jewelry store had to be treated for exposure to that bear spray. Police say that fire crews did assist with ventilation, and many of the people who work at the mall tell us that they all actually had to close early, likely to try and deal with that ventilation, to try and get the bear spray out of the air, though of course we did hear today that many of them were still able to smell it. We also saw one other jewelry store just down the hall from the one that was hit yesterday. It was operating with its doors closed and had a sign asking customers to tap on the door if they wanted to come in, and they would assist them. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. The cleanup continues after a cargo train derailment in St. Catharines this morning. The CTV News shopper was over the scene east of Glendale Avenue this afternoon. CN says nobody was injured. The company also says polyethylene spilled from one of the rail cars. Polyethylene is plastic used in many household items. The Transportation Safety Board has sent in a team of investigators to try to figure out the cause of the derailment. Also tonight, a 93-year-old woman with dementia is charged with assault after scratching her husband. Police say they had reasonable grounds, but was it reasonable? The calls to update the criminal code next.
But first, outside we go, where the temperature has everyone talking today, and some lovely sunshine to go along with the warmth. Yes, it's the warmest it's been so far this year. Lindsay Morrison is here with the specifics. Just one of those days you gotta get outside.
So nice, Michelle. The last time we had a temperature this warm was all the way back in October 19th to be more specific. 21 degrees still at this hour. So yes, easily our warmest day of the year so far. It's also 21 in Windsor. We've got 20 degrees this hour in Niagara Falls. Not quite as warm in central portions of Ontario, but above average once again. And as you can see, communities are a little cooler, closer by the shoreline of Lake Ontario, but still nice and warm. We've got southwesterly winds or westerly gusts, depending on where you are. A little breezy busy out there. It was nice to see the cloud cover clear out so we could enjoy some sunshine with the warmth, but that's going to be short-lived. We've got a chance of showers this evening and the risk of thunderstorms overnight, and then we head into a pretty active-looking weather pattern for the rest of the week. A full look at what you can expect heading into next weekend, which is also a long weekend. All those details are coming up, but for now, Michelle, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, they don't always agree on everything, but all three levels of government are teaming up to tackle housing affordability.
Today, they announced they'll join forces to lower municipal development charges. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris joins us live with more on this $8.8 billion plan. Siobhan.
Well, the deal is designed to get shovels in the ground, bring down costs for home buyers, and make sure cities like Toronto have what they need to build infrastructure.
It's a new partnership between the federal and provincial governments to jolt lagging home construction back to life. The Prime Minister promising $4.4 billion to municipalities over the next decade.
Matched by Ontario, a total of $8.8 billion to build the housing-enabling infrastructure and reduce those development charges.
Those are the fees developers pay to help build things like roads and sewers. The feds and Ontario will help cities with that cash upfront instead. That's if they agree to knock development charges down by at least half for 3 years.
If you don't cut DCs, you aren't getting any money. I'll simplify that. But if you do, we will be there to support you.
That change and a one-year HST break on the purchase of a new home announced last week
Can reduce the fees and taxes on a home in Ontario by up to $200,000.
The shouting you hear is from demonstrators from Grassy Narrows, demanding compensation and a meeting to talk about the ongoing effects of mercury poisoning on the First Nation. At Queen's Park, a new batch of legislative changes Ontario's Minister of Housing thinks will be game changers.
We're establishing an expert third-party advisory panel to find efficiencies within the building code. We are clarifying that municipalities cannot require enhanced development standards through site plans.
And standardizing official plans, something home builders say will cut out confusion.
They build one building on this side of the street and it's another municipality on the other side. The process is different, the costs are different, timelines are different. We need to bring consistency to that.
The hope is altogether changes announced over the last week could double the rate of building.
Ontario's looking at making explicit just how much development charges add to the cost of a new home, a kind of measure of accountability for municipalities. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Lower development charges plus the Ford government's HST rebate for new home buyers. Could this be what it takes to get buyers off the sidelines? Still ahead, we take a peek at what's in store for the spring market. Well, in addition to the housing announcement, all three levels of government have agreed to a cost-sharing commitment to support Waterfront East transit.
We've reached an agreement with the province and the city. Thank you, Mayor Chow. Province and the city to build the Waterfront East LRT, connecting Union Station to the Portlands. This is a line that will provide service to more than 150,000 people who will live and work on the eastern waterfront, 50,000 daily riderships a day.
To build more homes, of course, you need new infrastructure that makes cities livable. Today's announcement delivers exactly that for our waterfront. A rapid transit line running east from Union Station, serving thousands of new homes along the way. This is the critical missing piece needed to unlock the eastern waterfront.
The nearly 4-kilometer line will connect the Portlands to Union Station. The city estimates the $3 billion LRT would allow an additional 75,000 homes in the Portlands. Each level of government has agreed to contribute a third of the funding required to build the line, but any cost overruns would be picked up by the city. It's unclear when work on the LRT will begin. However, the city says it will create more than 100,000 jobs and generate more than $13 billion in economic value.
The Ford government is looking at harmonizing transit fares across the GTHA. The proposed changes would expand on the one fare system that was introduced back in 2024. It allows riders to transfer between different municipal transit agencies within the region without having to pay twice. The province says the new program, dubbed One Fare 2.0, would require transit providers to adopt a unified fare structure with common prices, discounts, and free transfers.
It doesn't matter if you're getting on, say, in Markham, or if it's Mississauga, Brampton, York Region, that we have a structure between municipal transit agencies that are collaborating, working together, whether it be on schedules, whether it be on fares, and then also integrating into the broader transportation sector, which is that could be Metrolinx, TTC, etc. So it's about a collaborative approach and a more seamless journey for individuals, guided in the both in affordability, accessibility, and driving stronger ridership.
The province is also looking to crack down on people who don't pay their fare while using GO Transit. Newly introduced legislation would see the penalty for first-time offenders jump from $35 to $200. That number would rise to $500 for a fourth offense. A note for commuters: there's an early nightly closure on a portion of the TTC's Line 1 this week. Starting at 11:59 p.m., trains will be replaced by buses between Shepherd West and Lawrence West stations. The closure is the result of planned track work. The early shutdown will be in place through Thursday. Regular service is set to resume each morning around 6. To a CTV News exclusive now, police in Midwestern Ontario arrested and charged a 93-year-old woman with assaulting her 93-year-old husband, even though she has severe dementia.
The OPP says the province's domestic violence rules say they had no choice. But as John Woodward reports, it's not that simple.
All right. Just like that.
Charlie Jackson is a retired church minister. He met Evelyn Patton in his 80s, and they got married.
It's wonderful. She's such a sweet little girl.
As they entered their 9th decade, they moved into Grey Gables retirement home in Markdale, Ontario. Jackson stayed with Patton as her dementia got worse. At one point, she was confused and hit him.
She's smaller than I am, so I wasn't hurt at all. I have to look at it and say, it's not Evelyn, it's the dementia.
But Grey Gables called the Ontario Provincial Police, who arrived and arrested and charged Evelyn Patton.
She is confined to a wheelchair. She can't move on her own, and the police are there confronting her, and she completely melted down.
Patton was asked to be fingerprinted. The care home put the couple in different rooms.
She was so disoriented because any kind of change for someone with dementia is awful.
As the care home and the OPP tell it, everything that happened here was mandatory. The care home was obliged to report the incident to the police, which had to arrest and charge her, thanks to Ontario's mandatory charging rules. The OPP said specifically in cases of intimate partner violence, all police officers in Ontario are mandated by legislation. There is no discretion to decide not to lay a charge when grounds exist.
Why that officer arrested Ms. Patton is beyond me.
Patton's lawyer, Andrew Luke, says her severe dementia meant she could not form any criminal intent, a key component of reasonable grounds, and the officers should have recognized the policy didn't apply.
I think further education would absolutely be helpful.
Ontario's Solicitor General said the policy doesn't require arrests in all circumstances, saying local police services are responsible for applying these procedures. Luke said a Crown prosecutor dropped the charge quickly, and soon Patton was back living with Jackson in Grey Gables. Patton's family says this should never have gone as far as it did.
Mom was in a delirium. She has no recollection of what she did.
A person with dementia is not a criminal. The person with dementia it's a health thing.
Jackson says the home helped in changing Patton's medication, and she's much closer now to being the person he married.
I love that little girl.
John Woodward, CTV News.
York Regional Police are investigating a rash of gas station robberies. The latest one happening at Petro-Canada Station at Hillwood Street in McCowan in Markham around 12:20 a.m. No injuries reported, and police have not said what was stolen. But it marks the third time in as many days that a gas station in York Region has been robbed.
And around 8:15 last night, a Petro-Canada station near Dufferin and Steeles in Vaughan was robbed. Police believe the same suspect is involved in both robberies. And a Pioneer gas station near Highway 50 and Trade Valley Drive was robbed around 7:30 Saturday night. Police have not given a description of the suspect. Investigators are asking anyone with information to come forward. The Iran war has been impacting gas prices, and so will the switch over to summer gas.
Canadians are cutting back to afford these higher prices, but what else can be done? As CTV's John Valley-Rao tells us, some countries are coming up with ways to reduce the pain at the pump.
With drivers continuing to feel the squeeze, many worry the cost of that fill-up will keep on going up.
We have nothing to do with the war, but we're paying for it. Painful, you know?
In Toronto, gas is back above $1.70. And some hoping politicians will soon step in to offer some relief.
The gas is too expensive now. I don't like it, so I plan to change to the electric car now.
To drive down the pressure at the pumps, in some parts of Australia, states have made public transportation free. The country's tax on fuel and diesel is also being cut in half for 3 months.
We understand the cost pressures for people are very real as the impact of the war on the other side of the world plays out right here.
Italy's prime minister also moved to temporarily cut a consumer tax on fuel. And the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is pushing for governments to offer up the same here.
The least they could do would be to temporarily suspend their fuel taxes, but, they should be providing real full-time relief.
The group noting the federal government charges an excise tax of 10 cents per liter for gas, 4 cents per liter on diesel. Provinces have their own fuel taxes, and there's GST added.
Some of these taxes are very painful. If you look at places like Vancouver or Montreal, taxes are costing up to about 65 cents per liter of gasoline.
With the war in Iran now into its 5th week and oil prices again climbing, the federal finance minister was asked if the government would cut fuel taxes like Australia.
I mean, we're following the situation very carefully.
The minister wouldn't say, while noting Canada is increasing oil production.
Meanwhile, other countries like Spain, Portugal, and Ireland have also cut taxes on gas and diesel, at least temporarily. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Air Canada announced today its CEO will retire later this year. The airline says the board will consider a number of performance criteria in assessing candidates, including the ability to communicate in French. Mr. Russo has agreed to remain available as needed to ensure a seamless and smooth transition. Russo received criticism for that condolence message he delivered following the crash at LaGuardia Airport that killed 2 Air Canada pilots. His video statement only contained 2 words in French. Today, the Prime Minister was asked about Russo's decision to retire.
It is essential that the next CEO of Air Canada is bilingual. I think recent events, that should have gone without saying to begin with, but recent events have underscored the importance of that. With respect to his decision to retire, my judgment, it's appropriate.
Russo has been summoned to appear before a parliamentary committee within the next few weeks. He will be questioned about the language controversy. Russo will retire at the end of the 3rd quarter of this year. The airline says the process to select his successor has begun.
The cost of a passport is increasing for the first time in more than a decade. Starting tomorrow, the price of a 10-year passport is going up $3.50 to a total of $163.50. The cost of a 5-year passport is rising by $2.50 to $122.50. It's the first time prices have increased since 2013. Starting April 1st, the federal government is also promising passport applications will be processed within 30 business days or there will be no charge.
An airline employee has been charged with allegedly trying to smuggle cannabis at Pearson Airport. The RCMP says the Air Canada worker attempted to export about 60 kilograms using suitcases tagged with the names of 2 unsuspecting passengers. Canada Border Services found more than 30 kilograms in each checked bag last month. The Mounties allege an employee working in the baggage room placed luggage tags with the passengers' names on the suitcases that contain the cannabis. A 32-year-old from Mississauga has been charged. In the Middle East, 3 UN peacekeepers from Indonesia have been killed in southern Lebanon in the past 24 hours. The United Nations says attacks on peacekeepers are violations of international humanitarian law and may amount to war crimes. Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah have been fighting for about a month now. The U.S. and Israel also continue to exchange fire with Iran. Today, Donald Trump threatened widespread destruction of Iran's energy resources and other vital infrastructure if a deal is not reached shortly. The U.S. president also mentions an Iranian island oil hub that he suggests could be seized by American troops. Tehran has threatened to mine the Persian Gulf if its territory is invaded.
So far, all systems are go for this week's mission that will take a Canadian and 3 other astronauts to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. NASA gave an update.
See if it's ready to go in just a couple of days, but certainly all indications are right now we are in excellent shape as we get into count.
Jeremy Hansen is scheduled to lift off Wednesday evening, and the countdown clock started late this afternoon at Florida's Kennedy Space Center. The astronauts will circle the moon, taking them deeper into space than humans have ever gone before. It's a crucial test flight in preparation for a planned lunar landing in 2028.
Back here at home, he is the spiritual leader for millions of Ismaili Muslims around the world, and today he was in Toronto to help launch a new housing project.
CTV's Rahim Ladani has more on the visit of the Aga Khan.
Standing 27 stories tall, this building near Don Mills Road and Eglinton Avenue is re-envisioning housing in Toronto.
Making sure that our aging community that has been here for about 50 years has a place and a space where they can comfortably age in an intergenerational way. So they're around children, they're around healthcare, they're around mental health services, and they're surrounded by their families.
As Ontario grapples with affordable housing and long-term care crisis, Generations Toronto is a not-for-profit community with 390 below-market rental units and a 122-bed long-term care facility. After breaking ground in 2022, the first residents are moving in this May.
It is an extraordinary example of what community-driven city building looks like.
Generations Toronto long-term care home is a recipient of the government's construction funding subsidy top-up.
While the province and city partnered on this project, it was led by His Highness Prince Rahim Aga Khan, the 50th hereditary Imam of Shia Ismaili Muslims, along with private community donors. More than 120,000 Ismailis call Canada home. While Generations Toronto is open to the general public, it is rooted in Islamic values.
In the Islamic tradition, care for the elderly is not a social policy, it's a duty. Reverence for those who came before us, solidarity across generations, responsibility to the places where we live. These are the ethical commitments that guide the Ismaili Muslim community.
His Highness was bestowed the key to the city on his first visit to Canada since being named his father's successor. The late Shah Karim Al Husseini identified the Generations project as a global initiative designed to enhance quality of life.
He was a person who was prepared to put his own weight behind a project like this, and I think his successor, will be very proud to be here today on his behalf, but also just to once again indicate what the Ismaili community does for this city. And I don't think a lot of people know it, but they should, because it's remarkable.
While this is the second Generations facility in Canada, it also marks the beginning of a new partnership between the federal government and His Highness the Aga Khan, with a commitment to build more affordable housing for low to moderate income Canadians. Rahim Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Coming up, Canada's biggest night in music. Who lit up the stage and who took home the hardware? We've got the highlights from the 55th Juno Awards in Hamilton.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, video doorbells are extremely popular, and they're an inexpensive way to have some home security. But while they capture video of what's going on, where is the best place to save the footage so it's there if you need it? I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
Well, tomorrow is going to be another mild day, but it's potentially going to be stormy as most are waking up and heading out the door, off to work or school. And it's not just tomorrow. We are in for a pretty unsettled weather pattern heading into the long weekend. We'll give you an idea of just how much rain could end up falling coming up here on CTV News.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Sales of video doorbells surged during the pandemic when people were practicing physical distancing and trying to stay safe at their door.
Now, many people use them as a layer of security, and if you have one, it is good to know where your video footage is being stored and who has access to it. Here's Pat Foran with a consumer alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. Video doorbells can let you see when packages arrive and help you check who is at your door even when you're not home. Most video collected is sent to the cloud, but you may want to have your own recording system, which could also save you money. Whether you're on the lookout for porch pirates, wild animals, or car thieves, a video doorbell can come in handy. They've been around for years, but some of us might not realize how they work behind the scenes. Most video doorbells capture footage from wherever they're mounted and send it to manufacturers' cloud-based servers. And in most cases, you need a monthly subscription to save and access those recordings.
Usually with most cameras, when you are recording and it goes to the cloud, but you don't have a subscription, the recording is not saved. It might temporarily get stored on the server, but it is eventually deleted.
In rare situations, companies can still recover footage scheduled for deletion, which may have happened in the Nancy Guthrie case, but that process can take a lot of time and effort and isn't something you should rely on. Many consumers prefer cloud storage because it's convenient and offers extra features. Others prefer cameras that store footage locally to keep their videos as private and secure as possible. Most cameras with local storage use a micro SD card inside the camera. Researchers also suggest another option for local storage.
The safest thing to do is get a model that has a separate hub or base station that the micro SD card goes into, and you can place that somewhere, else in your house that's far away from the camera.
Local storage usually means no monthly subscription fees and more control over your video because police would have to come directly to you for the footage rather than go to the manufacturer. Those are two reasons why some homeowners are moving away from cloud storage cameras.
If I were to do this all over again, I absolutely would go with cameras that use local storage.
These doorbells and cameras with both local and cloud storage options did well in Consumer Reports tests. When it comes to your family's safety,
now can I ring the doorbell?
Where your footage is saved could make all the difference. And battery-powered video doorbells are relatively easy to install, while hardwired versions can be a bit trickier. If you choose a camera with local storage, you'll need to buy high-speed micro SD cards, not memory cards used in phones or regular cameras. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, certainly a sign of things to come. We had a lovely day, and it turned out even better than expected.
It's amazing. Warmest day of the week, warmest day so far this year, and the most sunshine because I've been, when you look ahead at your forecast for the rest of the week, we've got rain, we've got cloud. So once our newscast's over, there's still daylight. Go outside.
Go outside, go for a walk, soak this up because, we've been talking about spring for how long now? And I think this is the first day where it truly feels like it and looks like it out there, too. We started off the day with a fair amount of cloud. That has moved out. We're starting to get a little bit moved back in, and then as early as this evening and certainly overnight, we are getting into some wet weather. But let me show you what it looked like earlier on today. Nice day around the GTA. Temperatures in the 20s. It was t-shirt weather by the later part of the afternoon. Highs reached of around 21 degrees. Here's the thing, though. We're going to be keeping an eye on rivers and streams over the next couple of days here because we've got a lot of rain on the way. And in fact, we're already starting to see a few showers develop across southwestern Ontario. Here's a look at our current satellite and radar. So you can see those showers just developing southwest of London. Bit of an increase in cloud cover happening for us. And really, we've got one low pressure system after another making its way into southern Ontario this week. You'll get a bit of rain, then you'll get a break, and then the next one moves on in. So these numbers can be a little bit shocking to look at, but upwards of 30 millimeters of rain going to be possible, 40 plus in many areas too. And that's just through tomorrow. So if we get some embedded thunderstorms here, which looks likely overnight tonight, maybe some flashes of lightning, rumbles of thunder through those overnight hours. Careful they don't wake you up. Those thunderstorms will likely up the rainfall amounts total. Then we get a bit of a break midday. Next round of active weather is going to move in for your Tuesday late afternoon and early evening. There's Wednesday. The majority of the day looks dry. Then wet weather approaches again from the southwest, just barely clipping us that time. Just want to give you a heads up for Thursday. This is going to be a colder day, and so we might see some mixed precip that day, maybe even some freezing rain for the north end of the GTA. Hard to imagine that's the case right now when it is 21 degrees still at Pearson Airport. Eventually tonight we drop to a low of 7. We don't stay there very long. In fact, the temperature climbs into the pre-dawn hours tomorrow, and then 15 degrees is our forecast daytime high for tomorrow. How about 19 again in the Woodstock area, 16 in Caledon. Little cooler again for communities north of the GTA. Gravenhurst, 6 degrees is your forecast high for Tuesday. And then there's the 7-day forecast. This is pretty unsettled, as you can see. Seasonal Wednesdays, we welcome April. Only 2 degrees on Thursday, so that's our chilly day. We are back to seasonal for the long weekend, but we've got showers in store most of those days. That's the weather for now. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Also tonight, is it fact or fiction? CTV News looks at the proliferation of fake news and the use of AI to cross the boundaries of reality. A new article in the Canadian Medical Association Journal looks at Canada's medical preparedness for military conflict overseas.
Now, CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, like many countries, we no longer have military hospitals.
It's a grim prospect St. Mike's trauma surgeon Dr. Andrew Beckett is examining: mass Canadian casualties from an overseas military conflict.
Under NATO Article 3, we're expected to have capacity to care for mass casualties within our country.
During World War II, Canada had 13,000 military hospital beds to care for personnel hurt overseas, but we haven't had military hospitals since 1994. Now military patients are seen in civilian hospitals.
These would place a tremendous burden on the provincial healthcare systems, which we know are always tight for beds.
And there can be differences between military and civilian cases.
There's a lot more penetrating injury, meaning that the skin is broken with a lot more tissue damage from rifle bullets or artillery shells. So the wounds can be a lot dirtier because there's a lot more debris put into the wound, and so there's affections are a lot more predominant.
Beckett, who has served as a surgeon with the armed forces for decades, says a first step should be establishing a national organizational structure.
To be able to respond to the emergency and also to have defined responsibilities for healthcare needs of both military and civilian populations.
Will we see a return of military hospitals?
That's an excellent question. There's no current plans for that at this time, but we don't know what the challenges are going to be in the future and how we're going to have to respond. What I would like to see is us being able to provide the best level of care for both our citizens of Canada and as well as our military forces that may serve overseas.
The article deals with overseas conflicts, but Dr. Beckett says this kind of preparation will also serve Canada for domestic catastrophes such as wildfires and natural disasters. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Deciphering whether a video posted to social media is real or fake has become difficult with the use of AI.
An influx of false, misleading videos created by AI continues circulating online. CTV's Adrian Gobriel now on the battle between truth and misinformation.
I'm encouraging you to register for our online program.
This fake AI-generated video of Prime Minister Mark Carney pitching an investment opportunity has lured an untold number of Canadians. It was created by doctoring this actual Canada Day message.
And reinvest in our armed forces.
It's just a drop in an ocean of false, misleading videos created by using AI, circulating online.
It's a fundamental challenge to our shared understanding of reality.
The boundaries of reality are being tested with alarming frequency since the war in Iran began. This fake video, recently shared by thousands, claimed that Iranian drones caused this damage in Dubai. This phony footage showing Iranian bombs raining down on Tel Aviv was reposted on Elon Musk's X social media site, with the platform's AI chatbot Grok telling users that yes, this is authentic footage from Tel Aviv, even though it wasn't.
This is going to become an issue across virtually every scope of life as our information ecosystem continues to fragment and people will pick and choose aspects of reality that they choose to believe.
I, Donald John Trump. Those increasingly in charge of the information highway are a small group of tech leaders, many of whom were front and center at President Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration.
When we think about challenges to Canadian sovereignty through sponsoring various separatist movements, I think we need to be thinking about the potential exposure that Canadians have to American malign forces.
Since August 2023, Meta removed all Canadian news from Facebook and Instagram in response to the Online News Act that requires platforms compensate news publishers for profiting off their content. Filling the gap on Meta, a proliferation of posts masquerading as fact-based news. CTV News asked Meta about the perceived threat to Canadian sovereignty posed by divisive, misleading posts on its site. They didn't respond, though we did track down Canada's Minister of Identity and Culture.
It's creating an atmosphere that is very unhealthy.
Ottawa has shared that discussions with Meta to lift the news block are ongoing. This at a time when deciphering fact from fiction online grows more challenging by the hour.
Those we spoke with believe the best line of defense against all forms of misinformation is education and civic engagement to ensure that Canada has an accurately informed electorate. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
They are some of the biggest names in Canadian music. Tate McRae won 6 Juno Awards last night, but she and multiple nominee Justin Bieber did not attend.
That didn't take away the shine from the 55th annual celebration. CTV's Andrea Case has a wrap of who was there and what they won.
It's been a while, but legendary rock band Rush found its way back home. Back on stage playing the first song of their self-titled first album released this month, 52 years ago. With new drummer Germany's Annika Nilles replacing the original man behind the kit, the late Neil Peart. The 55th annual Juno Awards celebrating the best in Canadian music spanned from the past to the present. Performing and winning on stage at Hamilton's TD Coliseum, Toronto's The Beaches won Best Group for the 3rd year in a row. In the crowd, Toronto's Mustafa presented his friend and collaborator, Oshawa's Daniel Caesar, the International Achievement Award. He also took home contemporary R&B record called Son of Spurgey.
I want to say thank you to my dad. This is Spurgey right here.
It's nice to know I got options. BC's Cameron Whitcomb took home the Breakthrough Artist and Country Album of the Year. It literally had him jumping for joy.
Being a woman in the music industry in any era is something that I have to tip my hat to. The men in this business do not make it any easier.
Drake made this video appearance in honor of his friend, Canadian Music Hall of Fame inductee, Nelly Furtado.
Totally believe in the Canadian dream. Please believe it too.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was on hand to bestow the Lifetime Achievement Award to 82-year-old Joni Mitchell.
I want to thank the Junos for this great honor. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad to be back in Canada.
There was a time Mitchell thought she wouldn't sing again, but she has, and she did. Andrea Case, CTV News.
After the break, new home sales in the GTA are down, but with the elimination of the HST, industry experts believe the market is turning a corner. Business is next. U.S. crude oil settled above $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022 as the ongoing war in Iran enters its 5th week. B&M Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has more.
The price of oil continues to climb as, on the flip side, uncertainty drags down the markets. West Texas Intermediate futures rose more than 3% today, the highest since July 2022, and Brent trading even higher. The latest rise in prices comes as Donald Trump is once again threatening attacks on Iran's energy infrastructure. Traders are warning an even bigger energy increase could be on the rise if the conflict does not end soon. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to $71.80. West Texas Intermediate is up over $104 a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to $81.36. And the TSX dropped more than 25 points to finish the day. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
New home sales in the GTA are continuing to underperform.
But the Building Industry and Land Development Association says it expects activity to pick up in the next few months. CTV's John Musselman has the details.
When it comes to new home sales in the GTA, the numbers remain bleak. According to officials with the Building Industry and Land Development Association, new home sales continue to underperform in February, falling well short of historic norms.
Price escalation combined with interest rates, combined with global trade uncertainty has served to keep potential buyers out of the market and demand being bottled up.
Take a look at these numbers. In February, there were 531 new home sales. That is up 16% from last year, but 76% below the 10-year average. Historically, home sales in February would hit more than 2,200 units based on a 10-year average. The benchmark price for a GTA condo is about $1 million. The benchmark price for a single-family home, $1.4 million. That's down 7.4% over the last 12 months. There has been a marginal improvement in February. The newly announced expanded HST rebate on new homes could also boost the market. So too will today's announcement to reduce development charges by half over the next 3 years.
So you're looking at 33% off the cost of a new home versus just 3 or 4 years ago, which should be a very, very powerful incentive to get new home buyers back into the market.
The market has been extremely slow.
Local real estate agent Ravi Singh says there's no doubt buyers have been sitting on the sidelines, but he says he sees an opportunity here as we move into the spring market.
No one notices the bottom until it's in the rearview mirror. And if you want to get into the market, you want to get into the market now. Now, that might sound self-serving as a real estate agent, but the reality is whenever we've seen market correction, by the time everybody says, okay, it's time to buy, it's not time to buy. We've passed the bottom.
Singh says some pockets in the GTA, like Durham Region and specific neighborhoods within the city, continue to experience a healthy market with multiple bids on homes under $1.5 million. It all depends on the location, schools in the area, and proximity to transit. John Musselman, CTV News.
The Blue Jays hope to continue their strong pitching tonight. The team's pitching staff set a major league record for most strikeouts in the first 3 games of a season.
Franchise record going back to 1977 as Okamoto drills one high, deep, gone.
Kazuma Okamoto hit his first major league home run in the Jays' 5-2 win over the Athletics. The victory means the team has started the season 3-0 for the first time since 1992. First pitch for tonight's game against the Rockies is set for 7:07 at Rogers Center.
There could be fireworks on the ice tonight when the Maple Leafs face off against the Ducks in Anaheim.
Finn McCabe on the board with the pair today, and there's the shot, scores!
The Leafs are coming off a 5-1 loss to the St. Louis Blues on Saturday, and tonight will mark the first time the team has faced the Ducks since Anaheim defenseman Radko Gudas ended Captain Austin Matthews' season with a knee-on-knee hit. It's unclear if Gudas will play tonight, and he's dealing with an injury of his own. Just ahead, it is touted as transformational. The North York Harvest Food Bank is celebrating a record donation. How the much-needed funds will serve up support for the community struggling with food insecurity.
The North York Harvest Food Bank is celebrating a record donation, which it says will be transformational in its effort to address food insecurity.
CTV's Mike Walker brings us the details.
The warehouse at the North York Harvest Food Bank is bursting at the seams amid unprecedented demand.
1 in 10 Torontonians depends on the food bank, and our facility right now is just not equipped to be able to take care of the food that they need.
The tight confines at the warehouse, coupled with power outages and a flood in July 2024, has made it difficult for the food bank to meet the demands of 30,000 clients it serves every month.
So we've had to dispose and throw out really high-quality dairy products and perishable products. Just the volatility that comes with the condition of the building has taught us that we need to do things differently.
An ambitious project is now underway to transform this old clothing factory into a community food hub that will expand the food bank's ability to store prepare and distribute food to about 40 agencies.
This site is 3 times larger than our current facility and has 10 times the cold storage as our current. So that will allow us to unlock millions of pounds of food that can be donated.
The project becoming a reality due in part to a $4 million donation from the Sprott Foundation.
Never seen at Northern Harvest a donation this large. Our goal for the capital campaign is $8 million, and the Sprott gift brings us to $5.5 million we've raised so far.
But this will be much more than just a large distribution hub. It will also include programs to address the root causes of food insecurity.
We are working right now to develop partnerships with organizations that do culinary training and more workforce development, giving people the livelihoods that they need to be truly sustainable.
As part of the donation, the foundation will be contributing $4 for every dollar donated to North York Harvest as part of a new fundraising campaign. It calls the hub an innovative and bold approach to addressing hunger.
They are bringing under one roof many services. And addressing food security across a spectrum.
Construction on the hub will soon get underway. It's expected to be completed and operational by December. Mike Walker, CTV News.
Weather-wise, this glorious day of lovely weather, short-lived.
Yeah, the cloud cover's rolling in, and we may get some of Mother Nature's alarm clock through the night tonight with some rumbles of thunder and maybe some flashes of lightning. And then storms and showers continue into tomorrow, but it's going to be another mild day. Here's a look at tomorrow's highs. 15 degrees in Toronto, so not as hot as today, but I think many of us will take it, especially considering the next 3 days show a bit of a cool down, especially into Thursday. And then for what many is a long weekend, it's looking a little unsettled. Might need to bring some of those Easter egg hunts indoors. Michelle and Nathan.
Chocolate's good regardless. Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sechedina at 11 tonight for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here, thanks for watching and have a great night.